So quietly, somewhat secretively, companies, businesses, corporations, major brands, major retailers, major employers, bosses, they're making decisions that are ultimately going to affect their employees and a lot of folks' regular, steady income and paychecks that folks aren't even aware is going on. Now, there may be mixed emotions and opinions about Twitter recently being purchased by billionaire Elon Musk, but ultimately, what we have to understand is that these types of transactions, these types of acquisitions, these purchases, these ownership of businesses changing hands, they happen all the time. And in my opinion, should be expected to happen more often and more frequently as we move forward. And the main reason for that, I'll touch on in just a moment. But the outcome and the end result is that new changes, under new management, new ownership, new personnel in charge, odds are first thing that they're going to do is they're going to clean house. And that just means a reduction of workforce and an elimination of jobs and positions, and with that, people's paychecks, their income, their livelihood. So I want to talk a little bit about what's going to happen next, why this is occurring, who we could see this happening to in the future, and what we should all be doing to prepare ourselves for the possibility of this likely scenario outcome to affect many. Where if perhaps maybe you or someone you love is a family member, a friend, colleague, a spouse, a partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, significant other, whatever your relationship status may be, perhaps maybe have what would be considered a good job, a high paying job, high income earner possibly, but ultimately a lifestyle that is increasingly rapidly propelling them towards the edge of a cliff with no safety net, no backup plan, no budget, no savings, no investment, no alternate multiple income stream. All their eggs are in one basket. And if they were to see a reduction or total elimination of their income, would ultimately be devastated relatively quickly, as they have no plan, no backup, no strategy for the deep depressionary, deflationary, recessed economic shift that we are right in the middle of, that'll probably kick off 2023, where things are going to change drastically. Now, we've talked about this before on other videos about using these opportunities that we see right now as a way to take advantage of the discounts and buy at a discount. Well, businesses are going to do the same thing. And you have two sides of business. You have the one side of the ownership that says, now is the time to cash out. Now is the time to pull out while I still can, while I still have my shirt. And then you have the other side that says, we want to buy. And we want to buy up as much as we can buy and further increase our strategic position, gaining market share for the next round, the next wave, life after the reset, which is going to be, it's going to be intense, folks. It's going to be crazy. If you don't know what I'm talking about, all I can say is that what we're about to experience is going to be unlike anything anyone has ever seen before in history. And it's going to be a game changer. But you may find yourself, let's just use Twitter for an example. You may find yourself in a situation where you work for a good company, you had a steady career, you had a great tenure, and everything was fine and good. And this is partly about similar to what I was talking to you guys about just the other week, about how anything could happen, whether it's in your control or not. Most importantly, out of your control. Something that kind of really is hitting home more and more frequently is that folks thought that they were safe, only to realize that they weren't. And the reason, the cause, the catalyst that ultimately lit the fuse of this dynamite stick that was literally just going to blow their life up into pieces was out of their control. And they thought everything was fine and good until then. I'll say it. Look, I get a lot of response. I get a lot of comments. I get a lot of emails from folks, members, clients, talking about, oh, I'm in healthcare. There's two sides of healthcare. I'm in healthcare. Everything's fine. I have nothing to worry about. We're in high demand. Sure, I don't argue that. But there was a time where there was a requirement, an illegal requirement, that put your job, put your livelihood, your income, your career at risk. So how in demand were you? While perhaps maybe you didn't agree. And there was an equal and opposite force on the other side of folks that were willing to comply and take your job and take your money. And that could, you think that it's an industry that's ultimately safe? Sure. It's recession proof. People are always going to get sick. The money's in the treatment, not the cure. I get it. But there are some folks out there that are smart, and they're saying, I'm in healthcare. I know that this is a relatively safe industry, but yet I want to take every advantage possible. I want to utilize the opportunities that are available. I want to set myself up for success so I don't have to rely on this. Whereas if I were to accidentally have some sort of mishap in my life that would even prevent me from being able to go to work, despite my recession-proof job, I need to have a plan. I need to have a backup. I need to have a strategy. I need to have a way where if I'm incapacitated for a long period of time, I'm still going to earn an income and be able to pay my bills so that, post-recovery, I'm not broke, buried in debt, ruin my credit, homeless perhaps, maybe. Anything could happen. Anything could happen. I saw yesterday we were driving and the vehicle to our right was going at a pretty high rate of speed as we were approaching a red light that we were stopping for. But you could tell that they had no intention on stopping. Not because they wanted to run it. They just weren't aware. They weren't aware until they crossed the line. The oncoming traffic to their right, so, it was a left-hand turn at the light, was now about to sideswipe each other, depending on the rate of speed at which whoever was going. And fortunately, it ended in a slamming on the brakes and a quick swerving maneuver, and no one was hurt. But if it had been a half a second too late, you could have seen lives just immediately, like in a blink of an eye, changed because of someone else's accidental mishap and negligence that no one else was prepared for, that could literally put you in a position of financial burden, hardship, stress. And that's what we're talking about. Having these safeties in place, because ultimately you need money to survive. And for the most part, most people work to earn the money for survival. But if you can't work and you can't earn the money, then your survival is at risk. And in a situation like Twitter, new ownership comes in and the staff is literally blindsided by the amount of layoffs that are going to occur, and no one is safe. And with the way business is going, with the way the economy is going, with the way inflation is going, with the way the supply chain is going, with the way that elections could possibly be going, all these factors are going to come into play. And there's going to be a lot of businesses out there that are going to look at 2023 and say, I'm ready to cash out. I'm ready to collect while I still can, while I still have my shirt. And then the new ownership, the new management, they're going to come in, they're going to clean house. And folks who thought that their job, their career, their income, their money, their finances were safe are going to be sadly mistaken. And face a rude awakening as they are cut and axed through no fault of their own, none whatsoever. And so, it's like, this is the evolution. This is what I'm talking about. This is the cycle. And, this is also a great opportunity for folks out there who are looking to make some discounted purchases. Now is the time to be preparing yourself, preparing your finances, preparing your cash, preparing your portfolio, because you could ultimately see 2023 as a great opportunity to turn around and purchase a business, or purchase a franchise, or purchase an investment, cash flow producing asset opportunity at a discount that'll put you in a great position moving forward for the new shift, the new cycle of business that we are going to likely see occurring. That cycle, that shift is going to be online based. It's going to be online ordering, web based. We're going to have a lot of, driverless type transactions and drone deliveries, and more drop shipping and order fulfillment and warehouses and distribution and fulfillment. Less of the brick and mortar, less of the mom and pops. Mom and pops is gone. If mom and pops wants to exist, they need to exist in a unique fashion online, plain and simple, which they can. They can. And there's businesses out there, there's companies. There's a link in the description, literally a link in the description to streamline a business creation, form your LLC and create a business in literally minutes. And if you have a great business, if you have a great product, if you have a great service, if you're not online and you're not taking advantage of the online opportunities, then 2023 could be the beginning of the end of your business and your livelihood and your income. Now, at the same time, if you are not running your own business, if you're not owning your own business, if you're not an investor, well, there's nothing wrong with that. Perfectly fine. But let's do what we can to make sure that we are protected and insulated and prepared for the financial and economic shitstorm that is currently brewing. Now, with that being said, how's your resume look? Is your resume current? Is your resume impressive? Is your resume, do you even have a resume? Because that's going to be number one. And you need to be working on ways to stand out from the crowd, because if shit really does hit the fan in the jobs market, widespread, more so than we have already seen, you need to find a way to stand out in a sea of probably overqualified applicants just hoping to get a paycheck. Now, be careful. Do not fall for the scams and the tricks of white wording your resume, which, if you don't know what that means, comment down below. But I would recommend don't do it. Don't do it. Honesty is always the best policy. And at the end of the day, we got to realize that with the economic shift that we have coming to us, to the housing market, to the auto industry, to the banking, to the mortgage brokers, to insurance, everything is about to be turned upside down. And when the music does stop, like I said, this is going to be a game of musical chairs. But when the music stops, it's not going to be one too many players for chairs. There'll be thousands too many players for chairs. And all of them will be eliminated, wiped out of the game when the music stops. So we don't want to wait until that happens. We want to be prepared, whether it be a stockpile of food, and it's not going to be or, it's and a stockpile of cash, and a stockpile of businesses, ownership, and a stockpile of investments, and a stockpile of resources, and a stockpile of networks. The key, in my opinion, one of the main, possibly strongest success building strategies in business is a network. When you can pick up a phone and call someone and literally make things happen, literally get support, literally have someone vouch for you, literally put butts in the seats, that's a game changer. That can take a business from 0 to 100 overnight, which is one of the things I was telling you guys about for those who have been asking and are interested in Amazon Fulfillment by Amazon, FBA, and trying to figure out not only one, what product to create, how to create it, how to negotiate with the manufacturers, how to outsource it, how to have it shipped, packaged, barcoded, delivered, et cetera, photographed, copywritten. There's a lot that goes into it, but even after all that's said and done, you want to rank on the first page. Right. But this is where the network comes in, because with the network, you don't need to rank on the first page. You can literally have someone send direct traffic to your product through a vouching link that will immediately generate sales day one. And that is the power, With that being said, jumping into fulfillment by Amazon is an opportunity, but I think that there are probably better opportunities that exist out there that are a much lower cost, unless you're looking to get into Amazon in the way of a digital product or possibly a very low cost, inexpensive product, which I actually have a combination of the two. And if you guys want to know more about it, it's called low content books. And if you want to know about it, there's a lot of folks out there making a lot of money off of low content books on a regular basis. I'm actually building out a low content book myself. And if you guys want to know more about it, just comment down below, let me know, or hit me up in the group. And or if you guys want to chat for, like I said, I got these 30-minute sessions for anybody who wants to discuss business and finance, YouTube coaching, or anything like that that's going to help you grow and help you bring in more money, help you increase your income, spend less, budget better, improve your credit, whatever it may be. Let's have that chat. But also, I had questions about the fractional asset class. Fractional shares exist. They've existed for Robinhood and Acorn and M1 Finance and these Fidelity and other brokerage apps that you can invest in companies through stock purchases. Typically you'd have to buy complete shares that are relatively expensive that not everyone could afford or were afraid to buy because of the high price tag. What fractional shares allowed was the ability for folks to dollar cost average basically into companies at lower price points, pretty much any price point they wanted, buying a fraction of the share. And it's a great opportunity. Obviously right now the stocks are trending downward, but again, stocks going down in price means that they're going up in discount. So this is not necessarily a bad thing. It all depends on what your goal is, what your future plans are, how long you want to be in this game, and just really you got to have a plan and a strategy, which again we can discuss and we can talk about. But the other fractional asset class that exists is a relatively new one. It's not like really new as far as it's been around for years, but it's new for the fact that a lot of people aren't aware of it. And it is a new asset class similar to, let's just say, precious metals like gold and silver, that are great ways of storing value and protecting funds and assets and hedging against inflation. But in another asset that historically has always appreciated despite what goes on traditionally in the markets. It's a great place to be, but it's a tough one to get into that most average people, even if they had the money, couldn't just jump in. Because it's somewhat of a limited, exclusive group, and that's part of and what makes it so enticing, and makes it to the point of which it can increase at the rate of asset appreciation and increased equity that it does, and it's an unbelievable opportunity that I'm going to be rolling out to you guys relatively soon. So that if you're interested, make sure that you pay attention. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn on notifications. If you're not a member of the group, join the group, because I'm going to be sharing this with the group first and foremost, because they're there because I know that they're focused and they're interested in passive income streams, side hustle income streams, making money on YouTube, building their brands, getting the attention of promoters and affiliates and marketing, and start bringing in revenues, and basically start building out their passive income stream portfolios and getting themselves in the position of building wealth and protecting them financially and their families for 2023 and beyond. and are going to find themselves in some really, really great positions to capitalize on these opportunities that are rolling out. But, with that being said, we got to have a plan. We got to have a strategy moving forward to make that happen. And a lot of the things that are going to occur are going to be outside of our control. So what's most important, in my opinion, is to now focus on what you can control, and that is your savings and your spending. That is your income as best you can, and creating and developing more ways of increasing your income, and, making sure you have a resume, making sure you have a backup plan, making sure you have a network, making sure you're communicating and talking to folks and keeping your ear to the ground about what's going on, so that you don't just get hit with blindsided with a layoff, or, a company being restructured after being acquired and purchased through a merger or acquisition. And now you are out of a job, and now you're scrambling because you didn't see it coming. And that's the thing. These companies, some of them, they're having backdoor meetings and they're letting some of the staff in on what's going on and possibly how future stores could be closing, but they don't want the public to know. Or that, they have a select group, a select bunch that they need to keep in the know, that may even be protected. They may even be safe, but they can't tell the masses because it would cause mass panic and hysteria, perhaps possibly maybe even compromising a deal that they have in the works. And if that happens, it's too late. It's too late. So I want you folks to be aware. I want you to understand what's going on and what could possibly be going on behind the scenes, especially with the reports and the headlines that we're seeing of what's actually being shared. So if that's what's being shared, you got to think like that's probably 10% of what's actually going on. So the other 90% hadn't even hit yet. And when it does, it's going to be a shock and surprise to many, to so many. And I don't want that to be you guys. I don't want it to be you guys. So let's focus on preparing financially so that you have the money for the preps, you have the money for the food. Food prices are going up. There's a huge worry of food insecurity, diesel shortages creating higher prices and transportation costs, and further increase in input costs, just driving up profit margin, percentage-based profit margins, making the prices higher on the items at purchase, on the shelves, self-checkouts, online checkouts, everywhere. It's all going up. Even gas prices are going to go up. You can't deliver gas to the gas stations without a diesel tanker truck. See what I'm saying? So we need to be cognizant. We need to be aware. We need to be working and actively preparing for this financial struggle that we are soon to face. But if you are doing what you should be doing to make sure that you don't fall by the wayside, then you should be A-okay. You should be fine. And we're going to be continuing to have these conversations in the group so that we are all in tune with what's going on. Now, I do know and understand and realize that there are some folks out there that just can't quite do it. Some folks out there who are on government assistance, SNAP benefits, Social Security, SSI, SSDI, and are, worried about losing their benefits and things like that, which, again, there is a video. I put it up the other day about Social Security and Social Security benefits and earning additional income on the side. You may want to go check it out. But you guys need to be aware and be preparing as well. And if you want more information, if you want me to work on putting together more content, more information, more updates on the Social Security benefits, perhaps disability, elderly folks, retirees, and solidifying and protecting your future, your retirement future, your finances, your investments, your 401ks, your pensions, just let me know. If I get enough comments in the description showing interest in that, I'll make sure to add it to the list. But in the meantime, I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you're doing all you can. I hope everybody's well and good. And I will see you guys on the next one. You guys take care. Be safe.